Sanjiv Chadha, MD and CEO at SBICAP and Chairman at SBICAP Ventures, joins us on the show right now. Sanjiv, hi, morning. Why would you say that an AIF was the preferred vehicle for this particular fund? And is there an opportunistic element here in generating a profit whilst, reviving a stalemate situation, or is it purely to reinvigorate, the real estate market?
I think the objective of the fund has been very clearly articulated. It is to address the very large number of stalled housing projects are there, where the money of a lot of home buyers is stuck. The fund seeks to address the affordable and mid-market segment, and also again projects which are RERA registered. So when we talk of the affordable and mid-market segment, what we mean is that when city like Bombay, we're looking at units which are about up to 2 crores in terms of value. In other cities, the major 7-8 cities which are there, up to 1.5 crores in terms of value, and in the smaller towns, up to 1 crore in value. So the fund is seeking to address a very large part of the addressable issue. And in our assessment, with the criteria that have been laid out, virtually 90% of the market which is there, which needs to be addressed in terms of stalled projects, this fund will be able to address that. Going ahead of, again, the addressable market, the objective of the fund is also, along with addressing the issue which is there of stalled housing projects, to make sure that we address it in a manner which is commercially viable. So the fund would be looking at generating returns where we can attract, apart from the government money which has been promised, commercial investors, both from India as well as abroad.
Right. So is 10,000 crore rupees enough, would you say, to try and spur the completion of 1.8 trillion rupees stalled projects? I mean, of course, this is a source-based number that I'm throwing at you.
So I think when we look at what the fund is seeking to do, it is very important to appreciate that we are not looking at providing funds to execute housing projects. Now, it is absolutely correct that the value of housing projects would be in the region of 180,000 crores, which is the figure that you have mentioned. But what the funds now need is the last mile funding, which is a fraction of that figure. So now and to my mind, that figure would be in the region of maybe 55,000 crores. Now, if we were to take that as the market that we wish to address, a fund with a size of 20 to 25,000 crores addresses that problem very substantially.
Now, is this purely capital infusion, or will there be strategic help and hand-holding as well? Because it's of paramount importance, as poor capital allocation has been the root of the issue.
So as a fund manager, the fund would be looking at doing both. One is to provide the last mile funding which is required to complete the project and make sure that the home buyers can get their houses expeditiously. But in order to do that, it will also be the role of the fund to make sure that there are tight covenants in terms of both how the project is executed, as also in terms of financial covenants. So I would believe that the fund would be making a contribution both ways. One, in terms of providing the funding, and two, in maintaining both the financial as well as the execution discipline.
And would it be better to wait till the overall economy shows more promise before diving into an initiative like this? Or do you believe a revival in real estate will jumpstart the languishing economy?
I think the timing is very appropriate if we see the kind of cascading impact an initiative of this sort can have. Now, if a fund of this sort can be effective, then you address a number of problems simultaneously. First of all, there is the problem in terms of home buyers who are stuck and their money is stuck, and it's very important again that they get the houses that they have been promised. Number two, we are looking at the real estate construction market, which is a very important employment generator, as also a very important economic engine. Now, if these projects were to take off, and that has an effect in terms of generating activities in this sector, there is a very salutary impact in major industries like cement, like iron, steel, a very important impact in terms of employment. And then also, again, further as we move ahead, the real estate sector is a very important piece when it comes to the addressing the kind of issues that the NBFC sector faces. So we will be able to address those issues also in substantial degree. And when we address the NBFC issues, part of the problems that banks today have in terms of their balance sheet, those also get addressed. So I would believe that this initiative is very well thought out, very timely, and the impact it can have is very broad ranging, and it can actually be a very important contributor to kickstarting economic growth.
Right. So which players, according to you, are you targeting for, say, maximum relief to come in? And, there is a monetary limit of 2 crore rupees, but the stress in real estate clearly extends far beyond the small ticket home segment. Why is it that you're ignoring luxury and high end, where a huge inventory also exists, especially in the city like Mumbai?
I think the objective, again, as the government is laid out, is to have the maximum impact. And when you're looking at maximum impact, that can be achieved by a few ways. One, you try to see that if a project is very near completion and is stuck for the lack of last mile funding, that funding is provided to the project. Number two, again, if you look at the market, this fund is looking at a fairly wide spectrum. We are looking at housing units up to 2 crore in value and all over the country. In our calculation, this addresses about 90% of the addressable market. So a large proportion of the market is being addressed. The third piece, I think, which we need to consider is that it's not only important to complete these projects, it's also very important to make sure that they get sold. And if you look at the demand which is there for housing today, it is the most robust when it comes to the affordable segment and the mid-market segment. So if we target money at this particular segment, we have the maximum impact, we help the maximum number of home buyers, and we also have a ready market to absorb these homes. So I think all in all, it is a very well thought out, very well crafted proposition, which has a very good chance of success.
Okay. 1,600 housing projects and about 4.5 lakh housing units have been stalled due to a lack of funds. Now, of this, around 2 lakh are in the NCR, a lakh in Mumbai, and the rest in smaller cities. What is the quantum of projects that you target for completion post the infusion of funds from the AIF, and any percentage number that you can share with us?
So I think this is something which was mentioned by our chairman also on television a couple of days back, that as a general proposition, it's about a 90 to 120 day period in terms of closing a deal. However, we are acutely conscious of the time sensitivity of the issue, and we would like to expedite the process and do it quicker. And we also have done a fair bit of groundwork in terms of surveying the market, doing our research, and also identifying projects which are available in the market today to make an early start. So we do believe that we can make a significant impact within this financial year and also make a start within the calendar year. So we are quite sanguine that this fund is well positioned to actually make a quick impact, and also it should be a sizable impact, because as I mentioned, if we are looking at the amount of funding which is required in terms of last mile funding, and if that is in the region of 55 to 60,000 crores, a fund which is of 25,000 crores is a very substantial proportion of that. And also the government has made it clear that should again more funding be required to address the balance market, that also would be made available in due course of time.
Right. Okay, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for really highlighting how this fund is exactly going to work with regards to real estate.